He and 2 other Virginia Tech students were awarded first place and co-awarded second place in the USAID Counter Trafficking in Persons Campus Challenge for their work to combat human trafficking using digital technology.
He now leads TIP Labs, a team focused on using technology to combat human trafficking. TIP Labs has 2 primary projects: Avola Shop, a browsing extension that helps online consumers avoid products that may have been produced with forced or child labor, and the South African National Trafficking Text Line, which aims to improve reporting of trafficking cases there, in cooperation with partner organizations in South Africa. Please welcome home Mr. Wes Williams.
Wow, it is such a joy to return to William Byrd for an occasion like this. How I wish that we'd had something like this when I was a student here. And it's just so exciting to be able to see this and be a part of this today. Today I want to talk a little bit about my experience with the issue and hopefully give you some context for how our generation can make an impact. And so I'll talk a little bit about my experiences, but the one thing that I really want you all to take away today is that in order to best serve those that are hidden behind concrete walls, that are locked away behind concrete walls, we have to break through our cardboard ones. And what I mean by that is a lot of you might be familiar with the concept of glass ceiling, this idea that there's this invisible barrier holding down women or minorities from reaching certain points in society because of implicit bias within these systems. But what I mean by cardboard wall is not an invisible barrier that can't be broken through, but a visible barrier that can be broken through. And I've experienced that time and time again during my work with human trafficking and as a student more generally, that all of these rules and systems that we have in place that we think are there to keep us from doing a particular thing or helping a particular person can often just be kicked down. And the people that are in chains around the world, that are in concrete walls in brothels in Calcutta and in Phnom Penh and all across the world in the United States, they deserve for us to break through those walls because they can't break through their own. So the way that I got started with human trafficking as an issue is I was studying abroad my sophomore year at Tech, and I was able to research sex trafficking in Europe. I was able to go to Amsterdam, to the red light district, and a guide from a local NGO there took us through these alleyways. There were 4 or 5 people across that were not meant for more than 1 or 2 people to be walking past, and you have these windows on both sides with women dancing in the windows with nothing but lingerie on, and she was pointing at window after window. And the one that I remember distinctly is we walked past this one window and she said, "This woman was trafficked, we prosecuted her trafficker, and she's back here now because she doesn't know anything else." That the walls that were constructed around her were so great, the psychological pull was so great, that even after she was freed, she ended up back in the same position of her own volition because she had no idea what other things were available to her. So that was what really took root in me, and I knew that I had to lend a hand to the fight at that point. And it just so happened that later that year, there was this competition for technology solutions to human trafficking. And my only real experience prior to that time with any sort of innovation was a computer science class that I took here. And but I knew that I needed to do something. And in spite of the fact that I was thinking, well, I can't really do much of anything with this, how am I supposed to do something that is not only going to work on paper, but will then move forward to be able to help the victims that we're talking about? That was a cardboard wall. That was something that I needed to kick down. And in that particular case, the solution was to just Google a lot of stuff. It's amazing what obstacles in our lives today can be conquered with the internet, and that was definitely one of them. So that's how Avola Shop was born. Is I saw this problem and I felt there's no way that I can do something about this. But then I looked beyond that wall and saw, wow, this is really flimsy. There's nothing actually stopping me from doing something, and I pressed forward. And that's been the tale of every aspect of my life. At Virginia Tech, I've been able to create my own major in a system where we have no flexibility academically. I've been able to construct my own path to be able to study this issue more closely. And that's true of you all where you're at right now. I'm not saying these things so that I can talk about my experience and tell you this is who I am. I'm saying this because this is a truth that applies to you. There are cardboard walls all around you. I'm sure already on day one of Globalize 13, you're thinking, well, what can I really do as a high school student at William Byrd? And I'm here to tell you that you just need to kick that idea down. You need to get rid of it, and you need to do things. And you need to do these things not so that you can build your resume, but because people around the world deserve that. There are people that are suffering in a way that deserves a response that we are not giving right now, but that you are taking the first step to give by being here in this room. There are so many different things that we can talk about with regard to trafficking, and there's so much to be learned, even beyond the curriculum that you'll be able to go through with Globalize 13. And I challenge you to take every step that you can, stretch yourself to be able to do something, because these cardboard walls are conquered with the kind of knowledge is power attitude that Frederick Douglass had. These cardboard walls are kicked down with the kind of attitude that Ms. Spencer used to get this program here in the first place. These are the things that you've already seen emulated in the people in this room, in the history of the United States. But this is a behavior that you now need to emulate yourself. This is something that you as a high school student need to stop thinking of yourself as a high school student and start to think of yourself as a modern day abolitionist. I'm proof that someone who is just a guy can do something to really impact victims around the world in this issue. And they deserve that. Any obstacles you have in your mind right now to doing something, I guarantee you, are smaller than the realities that they face. And that's how you need to frame it day in, day out. Every time you're getting discouraged, every time you're thinking, well, I'm not sure that I can really do anything about this, you need to think about what the alternative is. The alternative is inaction, and inaction perpetuates the problem that there are 30 million people around the world today that are in slavery. That's the alternative. So stop thinking about the cardboard walls that are around you and start to think about what you can do to kick them down so that people can be free, because you have that power. I believe it. I see it in you. I see it in this institution. I see it in this program. And it can be realized if you simply kick down those cardboard walls. So thank you.